reset to the maximum negative value. So these are a waveform is plus 5 volts to minus 5 volts. And the reason we did this to 0 is we really want to be able to make like FM percussion and other sort of pings and stuff like that. So if you have like a drum machine triggers, and you trigger the sync input while you've also got envelope and other FM stuff happening, you're always going to be able to reset the waveform so that there's no discontinuity. It's just good on sine waves, things like that. And then there is, of course, a sub output, which is just an octave down. It's a square wave. Maybe in a second I'll patch this into the Polaris and then we can hear both of them together. So this is the other new one, is the Polaris filter. And we've got several different filter topologies that we've put out over the years. The Cordial, which is based on sort of the way that a chord filter functions, and then LS20, but a totally different circuit. And we have the micro VCF, which is an SVF filter. This is a state variable filter. And then this one is more modeled on the way that some of the classic Roland filters work. We've already used this sort of similar architecture in the Dr. Octature and the Atlantis, but we spent quite a bit of time looking at how that core circuit worked and what we could do differently on it, on how it controls resonance, the complexity of each filter stage, things like that. And there's also a cool feature about those that you can mix parts of the blocks in the filter to form other filter responses. And so we basically made this filter that we thought would be a nice size for small systems or for putting together sort of performance systems, and have really like a focus on musical usefulness. So the knob range sweeps like in a nice musical way across the whole range, whereas something like the Dr. Octature, which is also a VCO, has a much bigger range because you want to use it for tuning in oscillator frequencies too. So this is just nice filter range, and we have this system that uses a little microcontroller and a switching, basically a switching matrix to allow you to derive all these different filter types. And so we've got low pass, band pass, high pass, notches, all pass, which is kind of a weird because on its own without resonance you just basically get nothing. But once you add resonance, you get some phase cancellation, and some interesting things can happen. And then the last mode is phaser mode, which is basically the all pass modes but with a blend of the dry signal mixed in, and then you get a phaser type sound from it. It's basically a one-stage phaser, but since there's 4-pole all-pass filters, you get a pretty deep modulation of that. So maybe, yeah, let's hook this up and see what it sounds like. So we've got new notes in here. I'll use the...
There's also the other 2-quarter shapes here if you want to just plug in those ones.
Sure. Well,
those are connected to the
yeah, this is good for now. So
okay.
I'll use the Metropolis to sequence this. I'm gonna prop that up so everybody can see. Okay, so this is also, I guess, a 101 on a basic subtractive patch. So our sequencer is going to provide the pitch. So we're going to plug that into the 1 volt per octave input. Our sequencer is also going to provide the gate signal, and that's going to go to the envelope. And out of this, we'll take, let's take the saw. We're going to go into the input of the filter. The output of the filter, we'll take the multi-out. We'll put that to low pass mode. And we're going to go into one of the channels of the VCA. So this will control, so we've got an oscillator creating a steady tone. It's going through a filter. So the oscillator provides the harmonic content. The filter cuts away from that, or just manipulates the harmonic content, I guess you could say. And then this is fed through an amplifier, which is going to change the level. So now we have this envelope triggering, so we're going to trigger the envelope. It's going to trigger the amplitude of this. And then we can plug in to get get sound out if you've done everything correct. So I'm just gonna take the scale. Good. So that was a lot of resonance. You're hearing some distortion there. So back up the resonance. So let's just turn this up a bit. That's at max. So the first thing is coming into here. This is unity gain. So this is just an unchanged signal. Thanks. There is some clipping on the input, some clipping diodes, so that if we crank it up, there's a little bit of distortion that so you can overdrive the signal going into the filter. And you can see the red LED lighting up just to show that it's starting to clip a bit. So this is one pole low pass filter. So if we go, we could try different. So this is the 4 pole. Okay, let me try a band pass. You'll notice when I switch between the types, whatever, oh sorry, let's go back to this. If I go to another type, I come back, it always remembers what subtype you had chosen on that one. So that was band pass. So you got 4 different band passes, and then high pass. And then notches. The notches are pretty interesting. We've got diagrams in the manual. There's some that have almost formant shapes, like there's one that's a double notch. Playing with these, you can get kind of phasery sounds too, which is pretty fun.